All right, good afternoon. Today is September 14th, 2021. And here's what I saw today is I saw this downward channel here. And just like yesterday, we get a break and two legs down into some congestion. And looks like prices started to reverse, but then we had the close of the market. So that's how I saw it. I think there was probably several ways to look at this, but this is how I was playing it, and this clearly worked. A lot of good price action today, and a lot of stuff it worked out really well if you followed the rules. A lot of measured legs, measured moves, stuff like that. So yeah, let's take a look at these trades. So in the overnight, it looked like this was prices were just ranging. Well, I mean, I guess they were ranging because they're on back and forth on both sides of the EMA. And so here are the overnight highs and lows. And when we bounced here, I was actually watching this. This was a little after 5. When we bounced here and got a higher low, I took that trade and I thought that was a solid entry. It's aggressive, because it's just a higher low, but I was thinking I would take this back to the EMA. But there was some type of announcement here today, a high impact announcement that was supposed to affect the US dollar, and those are the ones we want to keep an eye out for. I'm pretty sure Mack said that he only really stays out of the market for FOMC announcements, but we'll see if he says anything about this, because this was crazy. And I didn't have a runner on this, but you can see if you did have a runner. I think this thing shot up to like here in like a second, 2 seconds. So anyway, we shoot up, and I was thinking that, you know, this second entry wouldn't be a bad idea to take second entry off the EMA. It also looked like it was a failed breakout of congestion, counter trend. But I think it's aggressive, because there's no trend line here. But then we start to make this down, these lower highs, and I put the low end of the trend right here, but you get a touch here, and then you get real confirmation right here, and I looked at that as a first failed second entry long, and that it would have been real nice, but you could have rode that all the way down to 44.25 theoretically. But, you know, that's not really how it works out. So, yeah, failure right there, and that's a big move. And I don't think you want to take this short right here. First, second. Yeah, that's a third entry anyway. You get this nice leg down, and at this point I'm thinking it's a range day, and we're just going to bounce at the overnight lows, but we get an even bigger move down, and then we form some congestion after we break through the overnight lows, and we get a correction here, and it bounces, and I think, yeah, so I measured a measured move from the midline to the lows, and then I took it down here, and you can see we hit that and bounced, but not too sure that was relevant. And you can see the midline of this channel, prices are bouncing off that too. The larger channel, this is the midline. But when we touch here, I drew this trend line and took it to the lows, and that appeared to be an accurate short-term trend too. And you can see prices responding to that midline. So I don't think you can enter on this bar, but it does look like a second entry short. So that's an aggressive one. Maybe you would take that, but that actually doesn't even confirm the channel. The channel gets confirmed right here. So you got a first entry, second entry, terrible signal bar. No setups here, I didn't think, but we see a trend, so we have an idea of what's happening. And so for that reason, we get down here. Is this relevant later on? Yeah, it looks like it's relevant. So we get down here, and this is just a lower high off the midline. It's really, you don't get a second entry short right here. But this looked like, I went short on this, and the reason I went short is because this looks like one leg down. This looks like 1, 2 legs to me, 2 legs of correction, 1 leg down. So I was expecting a second leg down, and that's exactly what we got. And then prices started to trend up. And I'm not trying to go long in any of this stuff. You get a nice second entry long right here that works out, but I'm not trying to. We didn't break this trend line yet. So when we do break this trend line, I drew this trend. So that's 1 leg of correction. So right here, and this is a really awesome setup. If you want to go long here, we were going trending up here. So this is a second entry long right here. But that's aggressive. So we started to make this move down, and you get a first entry and second entry, and I was staying out of the market because I already took 4 trades at this point. But once this bar forms, the only reason I'm not going short is because we don't have any. Look, this swing didn't make it to the high, this swing didn't make it to the high, this swing didn't make it to the high of this channel. So that's why I wouldn't go long here, and the fact that this is within channel. So once this bar forms, I like that. That's a great failure. And you get a lower high right here if you don't jump in there. And this thing just rockets down. We get 2 legs down, perfect measured legs. Maybe 1 tick short, maybe. Couldn't tell. I might have drawn that roughly as well. Yeah, it looks like it. So we get this overshoot, eventually leads to a break. That actually could just be a measured move in this direction, but that's how I had it. 2 measured legs down. We hit that measured move and it bounces. I don't think you can enter in on any of these because it's far from the EMA. First entry, failed second entry, that fails, so we get people going short right there. And that really looks like, that kind of looks like 1 leg up. Yeah, and look, we get a second leg up. So, look, we got this leg of correction and then this leg of correction. And then the trend just continued down. So I'm not trying to go long there. Maybe in a couple years when I'm a more advanced chart reader. But look, we also find resistance along this range that I had drawn right here. And so we hit that level of resistance, make a lower high. I don't think you can go short there. We'll see what Mack has to say. Also, if you draw this measured move, look, we get a bounce right there. Whoops. Okay, prices start trending down. This is too far from the EMA, but that looks like 1 leg down to me. But yeah, so anyway, I was suspecting that this is the channel. Maybe you might disagree with me, but off these lows, I dragged it up to these highs, and you can see you get some resistance right here. So I think other people are probably playing it like that, but really I think this is a range. And let's see what this is. First entry, second entry, double top, first entry, failed second entry, short. So that's what I looked at that as. But if you're patient, you get a first entry, second entry back to the EMA. That's a good entry right there. You would have had a heart attack right here as it comes up and almost stops you out, but that's the second entry. It works. Off the EMA. We bounce again off these, and it's like a width trend break out of this congestion. This is where it started to look congestive, so that's just a measured move down. This is a counter trend breakout. Sorry about that. I had a brief interruption. So we have a width trend breakout. That fails. We come here, we bounce off the highs, and I think this is where I drew a line along the highs. I wasn't convinced that there was a level of support down here, but I drew this resistance. So if you look at that, you might go short right here. First entry, it doesn't look like this is really a second entry short. This actually looks like the second entry short. You might look at that too. 1 leg up, that looks like the second leg up. And that's what I was looking at. So you might go short there. First entry. Is this supposed to be here? Let's see. Did this work? That's a failure. 28.75. Yeah. Yeah, so you would have gotten... I looked at that as a first failed second entry short. People are probably getting trapped going long here. But, yeah, you're going into the low, so that's aggressive. But it does work out, and we get a bounce, and that turns out to be a very important level of support. So you know what? Maybe if you see that, and the prices bounce right there, maybe you don't want to go long there, or short. Excuse me, but I don't know. I was feeling that. I put the arrow there because I was staying out of the market, but it would have hit your targets. And yeah, only other one I see is this one, and that gaps down. So I don't know if you would have gotten filled on that. And that's aggressive because it's not a breakout. It's just the top of the range. And then we form this spike and channel to finish the day off. So mostly down today, or well, yeah, really down all day. And that's how I played it. So let's take a look at my trades. Shouldn't take too long. And I think I was satisfied with each trade. Maybe not this one that I took today. So like I said, I just took this higher low thinking, okay, prices bounce here. It's probably, looks like a range. Only thing I was a little suspicious of was this. And this might have been downward. And then I was thinking, well, if this is a downward trend, we bounced right here. And that's coming up short of the lower part of the channel. So just a higher low. Definitely aggressive, but it works. And yeah, here, yeah, it's a second entry, so I'm not terribly dissatisfied with this one, but it's congestive too, so not the greatest entry, but it's a second entry long, good signal bar, works out. I actually got my targets hit after only 4 ticks. I didn't even need to go 5 ticks. This one I like because it really looked like prices were trending, like slowly moving down. We made this new low as well. That's something to keep in mind. I didn't even notice that. I'm glad I'm seeing that now, though. We made this new low, and people probably went long here, looking at this as like a range, which you probably could have. That's probably not a bad entry. But then it's a first, second entry, failed second entry long. I really like that. And your runner gets stopped out pretty quick, but you get a scalp out of that. And so those 3. And then, let's see, this one. Okay, yeah, so this was a good read. It's not the greatest entry because it's just a lower high. But, let's see. Yeah, you can't really argue that. Prices were bouncing off the midline here of this channel. And it looks like one leg down. So this looked like one leg, 2 legs down, 1 leg, 2 legs of correction, 1 leg down, and then second leg down. So I like that lower high. And, yeah, I like that. It's aggressive, but I like that. It's a good aggressive entry. So those were the trades I took today. Yeah, and let's take one more look at the chart. And I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow.